So Rule 31 or seaplanes. Where it is impracticable for a seaplane or a WIG craft to exhibit lights or shapes of the characteristics or in the positions prescribed in the rules of this part. She shall exhibit lights and shapes as closely similar in characteristics and position as is possible. So, with that being said, we are now on the part D, which is the sound and light signals. So, with that being said, what we need to take note of this is that the seaplane is um, also similar to the ship that has a starboard side or um, port side, and of course the masted light. So what we need to um, take note of this is that the starboard side is uh, prescribing the light of color green, and the port side is displaying the color red light, and also the um, masted light is displaying the white light. So, so number 32 or definitions. Paragraph A. The word whistle means any sound signaling appliances capable of producing the prescribed blast and which complies with the specifications in Annex 3 to these regulations. So we will going to Annex 3 after these paragraphs. So paragraph B, the term short blast means a blast of about 1 seconds duration. Paragraph C, the term prolonged blast means a blast of from 4 to 6 seconds duration. So as I was saying earlier, let's go to the Annex 3. So I am going to show you the Annex 3. So as I was saying earlier, we are now in the Annex 3 or technical details of sound signal appliances. So the Annex 3 contains with the uh, frequency and range of audibility, which is the under the whistles, and limits of fundamental frequencies, and also the sound signal intensity and range of audibility. And also uh, we can find here the table of length of vessels in meters and 1 to 2/3 octave band level at 1 meter in dB report, and also the audibility range in nautical miles. So those are in table. So that's the content of the Annex 3 or technical details of sound signal appliances. 33 or equipment for sound signals. So in this rule, what we need to take note or understand in this rule is that if a vessel is 12 meters or more in length, um, it shall be provided with a whistle. However, if a vessel of 200 meters or more in length, um, she shall be provided with a bell in addition to a whistle. Now, aside from that, if a vessel is 100 meters or more in length, she shall in addition be provided with a gong, the tone and sound of which cannot be confused with that of the bell. And also, the paragraph B, a vessel of less than 12 meters in length shall not be obliged to carry the sound signaling appliances prescribed in paragraph A of this rule. But if she does not, she shall be provided with some other means of making an efficient sound signal. So rule number 34 or maneuvering and warning signals. So in this rule, it shows the proper meaning of the signals used by every vessel. So, paragraph A. When vessels are in sight of one another, a power-driven vessel underway when maneuvering as authorized or required by these rules shall not maneuver by the following signals on her whistle. So, one short blast is mean I am altering my course to starboard side. And the second one, two short blasts is mean I am altering my course to port side. So the third one, three short blasts means that I am operating astern propulsion. So paragraph B, any vessel may supplement the whistle signals prescribed in paragraph A of this rule by light signals repeated as appropriate while the maneuver is being carried out. So paragraph I, these light signals shall have the following significance. Number 1. One flash signals shall have the following significance. Number 2. Two flashes to mean I am altering my course to starboard side. So the third one. Three flashes means that I am operating astern propulsion. So, number 2 under the paragraph B. The duration of each flash shall be about 1 second. The interval between flashes shall be about 1 second. And the interval between successive signals shall be not less than 10 seconds. So number 3. The light used for this signal shall, if fitted, be an all-round white light visible at a minimum range of 5 miles and shall comply with the provisions of Annex 1 to these regulations. So paragraph C, when in sight of one another in a narrow channel or fairway, a vessel intending to overtake another shall, in compliance with rule number 9, indicate her intention by the following signals on her whistle, which is the two prolonged blasts followed by one short blast to mean I intend to overtake you on your port side. And aside from that, two prolonged blasts followed by one two blasts to mean I intend to overtake on your port side. Now, the number 2 under the paragraph C. The vessel about to be overtaken when acting in accordance in rule number 9, paragraph E and I, shall indicate her agreement by the following signals on her whistle. So in this situation, it says that we have to signal if we want to overtake on the other vessel. So the stand-on vessel and the giveaway vessel. Paragraph D. When vessels in sight of one another are approaching each other and from any cause either vessel fails to understand the intentions of or actions of the other or is in doubt whether sufficient action is being taken by the other to avoid collision, the vessel in doubt shall immediately indicate such doubt by giving at least 5 short and rapid blasts on the whistle. Such signal may be supplemented by a light signal of at last 5 short and rapid flashes. So paragraph E. A vessel nearing a bend or an area of a channel or fairway where other vessels may be obscured by an intervening obstruction shall sound one prolonged blast. Such signal shall be answered with a prolonged blast by any approaching vessel that may be within hearing around the bend or behind the intervention obstruction. So paragraph F. If whistles are fitted on a vessel at a distance apart of more than 100 meters, One whistle only shall be used for giving maneuvering and warning signals. The Rule 35, which is the sound signals in restricted visibility. So, Rule 35, sound signals in restricted visibility. In or near an area of restricted visibility, whether by day or night, the signals prescribed in this rule shall be used as follows. Paragraph A. A power-driven vessel making way through the waters shall sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes one prolonged blast. So with that being said, if we are making way through the water, we should sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes until we stop. And paragraph B. A power-driven vessel underway but stopped and making no way through the water shall sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes two prolonged blasts in succession with an interval of about 2 seconds between them. So with that being said, if our vessel is underway but stopped and making no way through the water, we should sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes and two prolonged blasts in succession with an interval of about 2 seconds between them. So paragraph C, it says that if a vessel not under command, a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver, a vessel constrained by her draft, a sailing vessel, a vessel engaged in fishing, and a vessel engaged in towing or pushing another vessel shall, instead of the signals prescribed in paragraph of this rule, sound the signal prescribed in paragraph A or B of this rule. So with that being said, if our vessels is involved to aforementioned categories, we need to sound at intervals of not more than 2 minutes 3 blasts in succession, namely one prolonged followed by 2 short blasts. So after I discussed the previous paragraph, I will just move or jump on to the paragraph G. And so if it says that if our vessel is at anchor, we shall sound at intervals of not more than 1 minute and ring the bell rapidly for about 5 seconds. And after that, it should be followed by the gong, and we should also sound it rapidly for about 5 seconds in the after part of the vessel. So paragraph H, vessel aground shall give the signal, and if required, the gong signal prescribed in paragraph G of this rule, and shall in addition give 3 separate and distinct strokes on the bell immediately after the rapid ringing of the bell. A vessel aground may in addition sound an appropriate whistle signal. A vessel of 12 meters or more but less than 20 meters in length shall not be obliged to give the bell signals prescribed in paragraph G and H of this rule. So with that being said, if a vessel is 12 meters or more but less than 20 meters in length, we are not obliged to give the bell signals prescribed in paragraph G and H. However, if she does not, she shall make some other efficient sound signals at intervals of not more than 2 minutes. So paragraph K, a pilot vessel when engaged in pilotage duty may, in addition to the signals prescribed in paragraphs A, B, or G of this rule. So with that being said, if a vessel is involved or engaged in pilotage duty, and if our vessel is at anchor, we should sound the hotel flag or the pilotage flag, or we should sound the 4 short blasts. So rule 36, or signals to attract attention. If necessary to attract the attention of another vessel, any vessel may make light or sound signals that cannot be mistaken for any signal authorized elsewhere in these rules, or may direct the beam of her searchlight in the direction of the danger, in such a way as not to embarrass any vessel. Any light to attract the attention of another vessel shall be such that it cannot be mistaken for any aid to navigation. For the purpose of this rule, the use of high-intensity intermittent or revolving lights such as strobe lights shall be avoided. So with that being said, the lights that are being mentioned shall be avoided. Rule 37. Distress signals. When a vessel is in distress and requires assistance, she shall use or exhibit the signals described in Annex 4 to these regulations. So, with that being said, we are going to Annex 4 to um, describe these regulations. So, as you can see on the screen, as I was saying earlier, Annex 4 and distress signals. So the following signals, use or exhibit either together or separately, indicate distress and need of assistance. Paragraph A. A gun or other explosive signal fired at interval of about a minute. Paragraph B. A continuous sounding with any fog signaling apparatus. Paragraph C. Rockets or shells throwing restars fired one at a time at short intervals. Paragraph D. A signal made by radiotelegraphy or by any other signaling method consisting of the group SOS in the Morse code. Paragraph E. A signal made by radiotelephony consisting of the spoken word Mayday. Paragraph F. The International Code of Signal of Distress indicated by NC. Paragraph G. A signal consisting of a square plug having above or below it a ball or anything resembling a ball. Paragraph H. Flames on the vessel, as from burning tar barrel, oil barrel, etc. Paragraph I. A rocket parachute flare showing a red light. Paragraph J. A smoke signal giving off range color smoke. Paragraph K. Slowly and repeatedly raising and lowering arms, outstretched to each side. Paragraph L. The radio telegraph alarm signal. Paragraph M. The radio telephone alarm signal. Paragraph N. Approved signals transmitted by emergency position indicating radio beacons. Paragraph O. Approved signals transmitted by radio communication systems, including survival craft, radar, transponders. Number 2. The use of exhibition of any foregoing signals except for the purpose of indicating distress and need of assistance, and the use of other signals which may be confused with any of the above signals is prohibited. Number 3. Attention is drawn to the relevant sections of the International Code of Signals, the Merchant Ship Search and Rescue Manual, and the following signals. Paragraph A. A piece of orange-colored canvas with either a black square and circle or other appropriate symbol for identification from the air. Paragraph B. A DYE. So, as you can see on the screen, these are the figures of distress signals. So, rule number 38, or exemptions. Any vessel or class of vessels, provided that she complies with the requirements of the international regulations for preventing collisions at sea in 1960, the keel of which is laid or which is at a corresponding stage of construction before the entry into force of these regulations may be exempted from compliance therewith as follows. So, paragraph A. The installation of flights with ranges prescribed in Rule 22 until 4 years after the date of entry into force of these regulations. So, paragraph B. The installation of lights with color specifications as prescribed in Section 7 of Annex 1 to these regulations until 4 years after the date to entry into force of these regulations. So, paragraph C. The repositioning of lights as a result of conversion from imperial to metric units and rounding off measurements figures permanent exemption. Paragraph D. Number 1. The repositioning of masted lights on vessels of less than 150 meters in length, the resulting from the prescriptions of Section 3, Paragraph A of Annex 1 to these regulations, permanent exemption. So number 2 under the Paragraph D. The repositioning of masted lights on vessel 150 meters or more in length resulting from the prescriptions of Section 3, Paragraph A of Annex 1 to these regulations until 9 years after the date of entry into force of these regulations. So Paragraph E. The repositioning of masted lights resulting from the prescription of Section 2, Paragraph B of Annex 1 to these regulations until 9 years after the date of entry into force of the regulations. So paragraph F. The repositioning of sidelights resulting from the prescriptions of Section 2, paragraph G and 3 of Annex 1 to these regulations until 9 years after the date of entry into force of these regulations. And paragraph G, which is the requirement for sound signal appliances prescribed in Annex 3 to these regulations until 9 years after the date of entry into force of these regulations. So paragraph H. The repositioning of all-round lights resulting from the prescription of Section 9, Paragraph B of Annex 1 to these regulations, permanent exemption. And I think that will be all for the Rule 1 to 38. And thank you and God bless.